It's 10 o'clock at night. We went on the Double Eagle today, 20 miles offshore. Caught a lot of hogs, caught a lot of grunts, and my buddy Victor caught this octopus, and I'll show you the footage of him reeling it in. This thing was awesome, and I love octopus. We had it the first time, Megan and I, when we were in Greece a couple years ago, and they cook it on the grill, they char it up, and then you put a little lemon on it. And so we're gonna try something very similar. So what I've got here is this guy, and he was on ice, so he's dead. But here's the octopus, a nice good one. You can see how long the tentacles are. And to do this right, we are going to clean the octopus tonight, and then Megan's gonna cook it tomorrow. So there's 3 steps involved. So step 1 is to blanch it. You blanch it so that as the tentacles hit that hot water, they'll curl up a little bit, and then you cool them down. What that'll do is when she puts it in step 2 of the pressure cooker, it'll keep those tentacles from really curling up. That pressure cooker is going to tenderize it. Then we're going to marinate it overnight, which is like step 2.5. And then the final step, we're going to grill it and get that nice char on the outside, and it's going to be really good. What we got to do here is we got to cut off the head. I'm going to remove the eyes afterwards. There's a beak underneath, and I'll show that to you. And I've already washed this pretty thoroughly, but I'm going to give it one more wash before I put it back in the sink. So let's get started. So as you can see right here, he's got 2 eyes. And the easiest thing to do is just cut right beneath these eyes. Okay. So I've got the head here, and I'll get to that in a second. But right up here is where I just cut off the head. What that leads to on the other side is this black piece right here, which is called the beak. This is their mouth. It's what they use to crush their food. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking my finger in this hole right here that where I cut off the head. I'm sticking my finger up, and I'm going to push it right on out. So here we go.
And to note, you do want to be careful with that because the beaks are venomous.
Okay, so once you pop off the beak, you got this hole right here in the middle where you can see my thumb, okay? And then I'm gonna clean this guy up. I'm gonna rinse him off, get some of this ink off here, make sure he's nice and clean, and then I'll go back in the fridge. Now for the head, okay, I still have the eyes, and I'll take those off in a second, but the head is kind of cool, right? So you have the 2 eyes here, and then when you flip them over, there's this opening here. And just like on a squid, if you guys have ever used squid as bait, you can just come in here and flip the insides out. Let me cut this here real quick. You cut the insides out, and these are all the innards. So I'm just going to grab these, I'm going to pull them off, I'm going to discard them. And I'm going to cut off the eyes. So I'm just going to cut right through there. Very, very, very slippery. So there you go. Okay, I'm just going to finish cleaning this up. Just a little bit of the entrails that are left on here. Rinse this guy off, and then there's one more step, and that's going to be to flip it over and remove the skin. All right, so this guy's real slippery, so I'm just going to use a paper towel to remove the skin, but I got to get started. And there we go. So I'm just pulling the skin right off the head. It comes right off. Look at how white that meat is.
That is good looking meat.
One more time with the paper towel, which makes it a little bit easier to grip. Boom. Wow. So that's going to be cooked up also. I'm going to clean all this up. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to blanch it, we're going to pressurize it, we're going to marinate it, and then we get to cook it a day later. This is going to be a wild adventure.
Hey everyone. When we go out on these head boats, people routinely catch octopus. A lot of times they end up throwing them back. It's kind of intimidating to cook them. Some recipes call for beating it, for braising it. We're gonna go an easier route, and we're gonna use our handy dandy pressure cooker today. Before me is everything that's gonna go into the boil mixture. I've got some water boiling in the back. Here's our octopus. What we're gonna do is we're going to just dip the tentacles of the octopus in the water to curl them up and firm them before we put all the ingredients into the Instant Pot. So let's go ahead and do that. As you can see, this is a fairly nice size octopus, probably about 2.5 pounds. We're just gonna dip the tentacles in. As you can see, they're starting to curl here on the bottom. And this is just salted water. Okay, now we're going to turn this off and he's going to go into an ice bath that I have in my sink right now. Okay, now we're going to get our braising liquid or our pressure cooking liquid going. What I've got here is a little bit of ginger root. We're going to put in an onion, some carrots for a little bit of sweetness, about 6 cloves of garlic. I really like garlic, by the way. We're going to squeeze in 1 lemon and toss the whole lemon in. And then here I have a mixture of fresh herbs out of the garden. It's one of the nice things about living in Florida is I can actually grow fresh herbs year-round. You can use dry if you have it. I've got rosemary and about 4 sprigs of thyme. I'm going to add in probably a teaspoon, or a tablespoon I should say, of dried oregano, because that I don't have fresh, my plant died. I'll put a little more in. Then we're going to add in some olive oil, just to coat everything. A good shake of peppercorn. Teaspoon of salt. Now we're going to put in our octopus and we're going to add just enough water to cover him. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add just enough water to cover the octopus. You want to make sure that you're using at least 1 cup if you're using the Instant Pot. Okay. We'll give this a stir. Mix up all the ingredients. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to set this to manual. And we're going to start at 15 minutes. It could take a little longer. You want to do 15 minutes and then let it come to natural release. When you open it up after it releases, you should be able to insert a toothpick or a skewer into it and meet no resistance when it's going in. Our octopus is sitting right in that slurry. And we're going to let the pressure cooker do all the hard work for us. So go ahead. Put the lid on, and we're going to let that come up to temperature. We're going to cook it 15 minutes on high, natural release, check it for tenderness. It might need a few more minutes. We'll know when it's done. In the meantime, I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to start prepping the ingredients to make the marinade, because this is going to go marinate overnight. At least 6 hours is what I like, usually overnight. We'll see what works, okay? Okay guys, so as you can see, the Instant Pot is coming up to pressure and the time's counting down. I just went ahead and made the marinade. This is the juice of half of a lemon. We've got some orange zest. I put in half of an onion, about 6 cloves of garlic, and a ton of fresh herbs. So there's thyme, rosemary, and basil all in here. We also added some salt and pepper, and we added about 1/3 cup of olive oil to this. So we're going to mix this all up. Once the octopus is done, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to cut it into shorter pieces, and we're going to mix it with this marinade and let it sit for a minimum of an hour. I prefer about 6. So that's what our marinade looks like. It should have a lot of good fresh flavor to it with the fresh herbs and the high-end olive oil. So we'll wait for the octopus to get done and then see how it goes. Okay, so our octopus has naturally released. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take him out, put him on the cutting board. We're going to test him for tenderness too. So here we go. We're going to see if this skewer can go right in this thick part without meeting any resistance, and it does. So you can see that this is perfectly tender octopus. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut them up, put them into the marinade, and let them sit for a few hours before we cook them. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna take the tentacles off. Be careful, this is hot. And I'm actually gonna separate the tentacles so that the skinny end parts all go together. And you can go ahead and take off some of the skin if you want to. It's just gonna peel right off. It's easier than doing it beforehand. We're gonna go ahead and dump this then right into the marinade. As you can see, the suckers are just coming right off. It's so tender that they're just popping right off as I'm cutting. We're gonna go through and cut this all up, and then we're gonna cut the body part into several different components, and I'll show you all when it's done. Okay folks, there you have it. We've got our octopus ready and mixed in with our marinade. It's gonna go sit in the fridge for, it's 11:30-ish right now. It's gonna go sit in the fridge until dinner at about 6 o'clock tonight. Our octopus has been marinating since 11:30. As you can see, it's firmed up quite a bit, which is good. It smells delicious, to tell you the truth. I also took out some shrimp. Scott called on his way home from work and said he was really, really hungry. So we were making extra, and then he has some for lunch tomorrow too. So I got some shrimp here. I just used some of the marinade that was already in the bowl, rubbed them down with it. Now we're gonna take these over to the grill. If you have a charcoal grill, you wanna make sure that you use that. If not, you can use a broiler, you can use a gas grill. You just want something that's gonna get a nice char on your octopus. So we just went outside and the grill is apparently out of commission and not working. So we're gonna broil it. This is the first time I've done it, so it should, we'll see how it turns out, but it should be okay. So I just laid them out on a cookie sheet. It's got a sill pad on it to prevent it from burning. You can put it on straight metal because it is oiled and it would probably get the bottom crunchy, but I wanna be able to control how much it's charbroiled. So we're gonna do the octopus, and then we're gonna go ahead and broil the shrimp as well. And this is broiled on 550. So a high broil, you really wanna make sure that you keep your light on and can watch it, because this can go from cooked to burnt in a very short amount of time. Also, be prepared to turn your fire alarm off, your smoke detector off, because whenever I broil something on high heat, without fail, no smoke, just the heat will set it off. Okay, so it came out of the broiler. It browned up okay. I would still recommend using the charcoal grill if you can. It's gonna impart a different flavor. It's gonna burn a little bit better, or I should say, kiss it with flame a little bit better. But everything's cooked through. We're just gonna move this to a plate and then start plating. Okay, so we've got everything set. We're ready to start plating. All I did here was just a little simple spinach salad. It's got some salt, some pepper, a little bit of sage, hair of olive oil and vinegar. We're gonna put our octopus on top of that.
Oh yeah. Smells so good.
And some of the shrimp as well.
Perfect.
Now what I have here as a side is a simple Greek Orzo salad. It's Orzo. You can use apple cider vinegar. I use pomegranate because I had it. I know that's weird. Red pepper, feta cheese, fresh herbs. It's basil, thyme, hair of rosemary, fresh tomatoes, and feta cheese. I don't know if I said feta cheese already. So that's just gonna go on the side as an accompaniment.
So that's a real easy dish to make.
It is super easy, and it's great if you go to picnics and stuff. People are always like, oh, this is good. And it takes maybe 15 minutes to make, and then it sits in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Okay, we've also here got the reserved marinade because the octopus was cooked when we went into this. We're actually gonna reuse some of it. And we're gonna put it on top of our octopus and shrimp. Now we're gonna use a hair of just citrus and a touch of sea salt.
This is looking really good.
And this, it sounds weird, but pickled onions. So these are just a quick pickle. They take about 15, 20 minutes to make. You could stick them in the fridge and they last for weeks. And I usually keep a jar of these. They're really good with tacos and stuff too. But that little bit of acid is gonna go nicely with the octopus.
Oh, I feel so spoiled right now.
Okay, grab a knife. And we've got some cucumbers here. We're actually reserving these and a couple of the tentacles. When the tentacles cool down, I'm gonna slice them up, put them in, mix it in, and it's gonna be like an octopus and cucumber salad, and that's gonna be Scott's lunch for tomorrow. Very simple to make, and even if without the octopus, it's a very easy side, especially if you're doing barbecue. Thin slice the cucumbers, salt, vinegar. That's it. Let it sit chilled for about an hour so it sweats out. Still stays crunchy, but super good.
And that, with the octopus, is courtesy of some friends that we made out in Oregon. All right.
Crystal.
All right, so we're gonna dig into this. That pressure cooker made it nice and tender. Cuts right through.
Good? Is it tender?
Really tender. You get a little bit of that char. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of acid just to try it. I know you guys don't wanna see me eat this whole thing in front of the camera.
Just
But
onion. Good? It's better when it comes off the charcoal grill though.
so that onion really just adds that little bit of acid that it needs. In Greece, they put a lot of lemon on it, but because we used orange, it didn't have as much acid, so this definitely added to it.
Which was on purpose, because we put in the acid with the onion. So.
Yeah, she's always thinking, balancing out that acid. So anyways, I'm gonna tear into this. Gotta try the Orzo real quick. This is like my favorite.
I'm a big Orzo fan.
Orzo's amazing. So we'll post, how to do this in the description below. And thank you guys for watching. If you noticed, we got some new shirts. This is the front. This is the back. You guys want to support us, just leave a comment below. I'll let you know how to order them. If you please like us. If you enjoy the video, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, definitely subscribe.
And remember,
Dinner is waiting.
go and get it.